Hello, guys! Today we're sharing an incredible story of The Rock's kindness during the LA wildfires, going beyond expectations to help those in need. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from. If you love stories like this, subscribe. Tomorrow, we have another special one for you. On January 7th, 2025, a wildfire broke out in the dry hills of Los Angeles, igniting a fierce blaze that quickly spread across the city. The wind carried the fire through neighborhoods, turning bustling areas into infernos. Within hours, entire blocks were engulfed, leaving people with no time to pack their belongings or even think about what to do next. The fire didn't just threaten homes, it destroyed livelihoods, memories, and even lives. Families were forced to evacuate, and many had nowhere to go. Thousands of people were left with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Amidst the chaos, The Rock, known for his kindness and generosity, sprang into action. Without hesitation, he began calling relief organizations, offering his resources to help those who had lost everything. As the fire rapidly spread, his first priority was making sure people were safe and had what they needed in the face of this terrifying disaster. As soon as The Rock became aware of the scale of the wildfire, he knew he couldn't just sit by. Within hours of the fire starting, he mobilized efforts to support evacuees. He reached out to local shelters and organizations to offer his help. But he didn't stop there. He knew that people needed more than just temporary shelter. They needed long-term support. Without hesitation, The Rock opened his expansive estate as a refuge for displaced families, offering a safe haven for those with nowhere else to go. His decision was not just an act of generosity, but a genuine understanding of the gravity of the situation. Amidst all the uncertainty and chaos, a small sense of stability could go a long way in restoring hope to those who had lost everything. Families like the Torres family, who had barely escaped the flames, found solace in The Rock's gesture. For The Rock, providing a safe place was just the beginning. He believed in the power of community and knew that recovery would require a united effort. News of his actions spread like wildfire, and soon more families began arriving at his estate. His home became a refuge not just in a physical sense, but emotionally as well. Many evacuees were dealing with severe trauma, lost homes, lost belongings, and the fear that the fire could reach them at any moment. The Rock welcomed each person with kindness and a reassuring smile. Families were given shelter, beds, and hot meals. But more importantly, they were treated with dignity and respect. Maria Torres, a mother of two, arrived at The Rock's estate, exhausted and scared. The fire had come so quickly that she didn't have time to pack anything. When The Rock greeted her, he put her at ease. "We're here to help. You're not alone," he said, his calm voice carrying a sense of peace. The Torres family, like many others, was overwhelmed with gratitude. His presence brought them a sense of comfort and safety. Over the next few days, his estate transformed into a community hub where families could relax, talk, and share their stories. But The Rock didn't just provide shelter. He provided emotional support, offering a calm presence in a time of crisis. As the fire continued to rage and more evacuees arrived at shelters, the need for food, water, and medical supplies became urgent. The Rock knew that while offering shelter was important, providing essentials to survive was just as critical. He reached out to local businesses and food banks, organizing large-scale food drives to ensure that every shelter had what they needed to feed the growing number of displaced individuals. One of the most profound acts of generosity came when The Rock personally delivered food and supplies to the front lines. He visited emergency shelters, including the Sunset Shelter, where over 200 people were staying. The Rock, armed with boxes of food and medical supplies, was greeted by a tired but thankful crowd. Among them was David, a volunteer who had been working non-stop to assist families. The Rock handed him a hot meal. "You've been doing great work," he said. "We're all in this together." David smiled through his exhaustion, visibly touched by the gesture. This act wasn't just about providing food. It was about acknowledging the sacrifices people were making and showing that their efforts mattered. His compassion helped fuel the collective strength of those working to support the community. As The Rock continued his work, he realized that the scale of the disaster required more than just local efforts. He understood the power of his platform and began to use it to amplify relief efforts. Taking to social media, he posted about the ongoing crisis and encouraged his followers to donate to local relief organizations. The fire is still raging. Many people are in need of shelter, food, and medical supplies. Please support local charities and donate what you can. We're stronger together, he wrote. The response was overwhelming. Within hours, people from all over the world started donating. Celebrities, athletes, and fans joined forces, rallying around The Rock's call for action. The hashtag #LA Wildfire Relief trended worldwide, bringing attention to the needs of those affected by the fires. Despite all his efforts, The Rock remained humble. He didn't seek personal recognition. He simply used his fame as a tool to bring about positive change. His posts not only raised funds but also spread hope, reminding people that even in the face of disaster, humanity's kindness and resilience could shine through. But he didn't stop there. He knew that first responders were on the front lines battling the fire while trying to keep the community safe. The Rock made it a point to visit local fire stations, offering support and showing appreciation for the firefighters' tireless efforts. He even worked alongside them, passing out supplies to the community. At Station 45, The Rock joined firefighters as they distributed water and snacks to families in nearby neighborhoods. Firefighter Sarah Williams, exhausted from working non-stop, looked up in surprise as The Rock walked into the station, a bag of supplies in hand. "You're here helping?" she asked incredulously. The Rock smiled and nodded. "I'm here to support however I can," he said, placing the supplies on the table. The team was encouraged by his dedication. His presence wasn't just a symbol of celebrity. It was a reminder that everyone, no matter their background, had a part to play in times of crisis. The wildfire had left many people physically and emotionally scarred. Smoke inhalation, burns, and exhaustion were common, but the emotional toll was just as devastating. The Rock knew that while the community needed food and shelter, they also needed emotional support. He ensured that mental health professionals were available at shelters and personally funded therapy sessions for those who had lost everything. One survivor, Emily, had lost her entire neighborhood to the flames. She sat with The Rock for a brief moment, speaking about her feelings of helplessness. He listened without interrupting, offering only a comforting presence. "You're not alone in this," he said gently. "We will rebuild together, step by step." His commitment didn't stop at temporary relief. He realized that recovery would take years. In addition to providing immediate food and shelter, The Rock began working with construction teams and local businesses to help rebuild homes. He purchased supplies for families who couldn't afford the rebuilding process and arranged long-term housing for those unable to return home. The Rock's actions remind us that in the middle of chaos, there is always hope. Every small act of kindness can make a big difference in someone's life. If you found this story inspiring, please like, subscribe, and share. By spreading the word, we can encourage more people to join efforts and bring hope to those affected. Together, we are stronger. Thanks for watching.